the data science roadmap. So we will be focusing here first point. Okay. Second, as we go along, I'm going to cover statistics. Okay. I'll also share some of the videos I have curated in YouTube, okay, for algebra, differential calculus, and discrete mathematics. Okay, see here you don't have to do any practice, guys. Okay, this is just for your knowledge. Because in interviews and all, they'll gonna ask some questions on this. What is linear algebra? How it helps in data science and all that. Okay, so there are already a beautiful videos are there which I refer now and then. Okay, so that will help you to just pick up those concepts. Okay, so right now we are in the first stage. So last week we were at libraries. Okay, so if 1 minute, I'll open the um, Python packages. Okay, so we'll just refresh or cover all those important points, and then we will move on with our next topic. Okay, so we learned about keywords. Okay, so what are the keywords that Python use? Okay, when you write a program, right? These are all the keywords that you should not be using because these are all reserved. Okay, these are all reserved by Python. Okay, so you cannot use them. So if you want to see, you have to import a library called keyword. Okay, and then you print keyword dot keyword list property. Okay, and then you'll see these are all the things that you cannot use. Okay, you cannot use a variable called try is equal to 1. No, it will throw an error. Okay, so just make sure this is just for reference. Okay, so if you type this just 2 lines, you'll see what are the keywords that I cannot use while writing a program. Okay, so package is nothing but collection of modules. Okay, these are all grouped in a directory internally in Python folder. Okay, and whenever you call, those libraries will be used, and functions, classes will be used in your entire program that you are writing. Okay, and module is a single py file. Okay, py stands for Python. This is an extension, like you have a doc, txt file and all, right? Every file has extension, so this file will have a extension called py. Contains multiple modules. It is package will contain multiple modules. Okay, so it is not one module one package. No, in one package called system, it will include everything. Okay, your power management, your operating system, logs, networking, everything. Okay, so these are all the examples that we have gone through last week, and hope you guys have practiced this. If not, please do so. Okay, at least this week, because otherwise if you don't do it, you will not get that hands on. Okay, now coming back to libraries. Okay, so what are the famous libraries that we use now and then in uh, s- this one? Okay, so for numerical computing, NumPy is a library that you will use often for numeric manipulation. Okay, we'll see. I'll show you all these examples how I'm using NumPy. Okay, and Pandas is very famous and powerful for data manipulation and analysis. You'll be most of the time you'll be using these two. Okay, and what are this matplotlib? Okay, these are used for data visualization. Okay, like you have a data, you want to create a chart, because right, if you give a data to your leadership team, they will not understand. Okay, for them it's a unstructured or semi-structured data. Okay, the same data if you visualize with pie chart, bar chart, or count chart, right? That makes sense, right? And what is SciPy? SciPy is scientific computing. Okay, these are only five added. There are a lot. Okay, so I'll also give you some of the links where you will get maximum uh, information about packages. What is a new package that has come recently by Python a community who has added. You need to keep reading that. Okay, so you can go subscribe to your personal and office email. So whenever they add something new feature, you will get an email. At least just go through it. I'm not asking. Just go through it. You'll know when to use those libraries. Okay, and there is one more, guys. Okay, I forgot scikit-learn. Okay, that is for scikit-learn. Okay, scikit-learn is one of the uh, library that you will be using for machine learning. Okay, and people call it sklearn also, scikit-learn or sklearn. Okay, short form. Okay, and Seaborn, this is for statistical data visualization. Okay, these are some of the libraries that you will be learning. Yeah, this one, scikit-learn. Okay, machine learning and AI libraries are this scikit-learn, machine learning model TensorFlow, and this is developed by Google, and they made it as open source, so anybody can use those libraries and make use of it. Okay, this is used for deep learning framework. Okay, and PyTorch is neural network and AI. Okay, PyTorch. And XGBoost is a gradient boosting for machine learning. I'll explain all this terminology grading as we embark on machine learning. Okay, so slowly. So these are just libraries. Just make sure these are the libraries. Different libraries are used for different purpose. Okay, now if you ask me, how can we do automation in Python? Yes, you can, and there are some packages like Selenium. Okay, browser automation. Say for example, every day you want to run a report. Okay, so you will use Selenium, import Selenium, and you will use the method, and you'll give the website URL and all that, and then you will say these three tasks you can do. Okay, like pulling a report for all queues of customer. Okay, queues, and then send it to required people. Okay, management or whoever you want to. That you can automate browser automation through Selenium. Okay, and PyAuto GUI is for GUI automation. Now, what is GUI? Okay, GUI typically stands for a graphical user interface. Okay, for example, I have a I have a keyboard. Yeah, for example, I have this application called command prompt. Okay, so now here, see in command prompt and all, what you have to do is you have to type those commands, right? So if I say I want to enable the PowerShell interface, and I want to say get hyphen service. Okay, now what it does is it picks up all the services that are running in my system, operating system services. Okay, now you see this is a command interaction. Okay, I am interacting with the command prompt and I am running some command to do that. If you ask me same thing GUI, how we can do? Okay, if I go to right click on my system, start machine. Okay, and I have something called computer management. Okay, I'll go to the computer management on my system. Okay, and then 1 minute, did I click on it? I don't know. Yeah, it is coming up here. Okay, now see, this is a GUI option. Okay, same services, if I want to see, I can click here services and application, and then I can click on services. Okay, and here, okay, you can see these are all the services that are running in my system. If I bring back my command prompt here, you can see these are all running, stops, running, stopped. Okay, so here also you'll see running, running, stop. The one which you, there is a gap, these are all stopped. Okay, these are all not running. So if you want to bifurcate running versus this, you just click on, you will get a order in running and then non-running and all. See, same thing, but here what I'm doing is I'm using a GUI feature. GUI is nothing but graphical user interface where user can interact with your system or tools to interact with. Okay, so in Python, you have a GUI application, GUI automation. Okay, so you can create forms, you can create calculator. Okay, just like a Windows calculator, you can create. Okay, so and you have something called shoe util. Okay, shutil. Okay, actually you can pronounce it shutil or shutil. Okay, so these are, this package is used for file operation. You remember we did a file operation, reading a file, appending a file. Okay, we're using a methods, different methods we use there, and like read, write, close, operation and all. Okay, and then this is the one SSH automation. Okay, so SSH is secure shell. Okay, secure shell. I mean, what is that? Is you will connect your router through secure shell, like just like a command prompt here. Okay, just like a command prompt here, you will connect and you will edit changes in your router or in your networking device in a big organization. Okay, and you need to remember all those command line commands to, in order to interact with your device. Okay, so you have a lot of options. These are very small, I mean, added. Okay, so web development, what is web development? You can create your own websites. Okay, and you can add dynamic content, static content. Okay, then you read from your database. If you have a database online or local, you can read those database and all that. You can do a lot of things. Okay, some of the libraries are Flask, lightweight web framework, Django, okay, full stack web framework, request for handling HTTP request. You know, right? HTTP and HTTPS difference. HTTP is not a secure. HTTPS is secure. Okay, that is why you have to type HTTPS colon slash slash and then followed by URL. Okay, if you give just a HTTP, it is not secure. Some people can read your data, okay, through some what is that called, hacking tools. Okay, so you will use this handling HTTP request for APIs in your organization. Okay, and beautiful soup for is web scraping. Like you have a website. Okay, for example, if I go to uh, if I want to scrap, for example, census. Okay, I have a census of India site. This is the site. Okay, if I want to first, let's load this data. So you will have data and resources. Okay, now population finder, census table. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, now I have this 2011 data is there. Okay, it's in a Excel. Okay, now I can download this, but earlier, right, you will get some of the pages in website only natively. Okay, say for example, just assume this one, this data. Okay, these are all rows and some columns. Okay, how do you scrape it? Okay, you can scrape that data and convert that data into a data frame. Okay, data frame is structured data with a column and name, row, sorry, not name. Okay, you can do all that using the different packages. Okay, so this is just a starting, guys, so you have to go through videos. Okay, whenever you have time, you can do. See, not only Python libraries can be used only for data science purpose, you can use it for cyber security, ethical hacking. So these are the packages. Okay, network packet manipulation, SCAPI, cryptography, encryption and security, hashlib. Okay, okay, PyCryptodome. Okay, so these are all to uh, encrypt your data. Okay, when you are sending a crucial data or critical data or sensitive data like password, date of birth, Aadhaar card, or OTP, whatever. Okay, so you can encrypt and then you can send it to the location. Okay, so that people will not see those content, plain text content. Okay, now database interaction. Okay, now what is this? So I have added all this I mean for reference purpose. Okay, so database interaction libraries means using Python you can connect your backend. Backend means your database, Postgres, SQL, Oracle, NoSQL, MongoDB. Okay, so all these things you can connect. So you have all these packages. Okay, so this is SQLite database operation. So this is SQLite 3. Just import it and use the function to connect, and for connecting, what are the things you need? The IP address of your system, okay, where you are running the database, and the port. Okay, every SQL will have a port to connect, and then username and password. Okay, if you give pass on these three, it will connect, and then you can read your database, and then you can do the analysis. Okay, and this one is SQL. Chemi is for SQL database management, and this is PyMongo is MongoDB. Okay, Redis, sorry, Redis is for NoSQL. Clear, guys? Yes, no? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, and you're audible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think I didn't add the Postgres here. I will add it. I use a lot in Office. For some reason, my PC is slow. 1 minute. What is the package? PSY Pope G. Okay, this is a library. So, okay, Postgres. Okay, this you can use it for Postgres. Okay, this library. Just turn into green. Okay, so these are the libraries. You will see how we are using all these things and connecting. Okay. Now installation libraries. How do you install a Python library? First time, see, These are all old days, guys. Okay. Now, when you install the Python new version, right, everything is included, even NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. You don't have to install all these things. This is just for your information to see if you come across any message like what is that message? It will say uh, Python package not found. Okay, so you will get that message, and how to treat that is you have to take the name of the this thing, and you have to use pip space install the name of the package. These are all loaded, guys. Okay, so I mean you can do that, nothing harm. If there is an upgraded version, it will upgrade. Okay, and how do you upgrade? You can use the upgrade command. Okay, pip install something like this. Okay, so you can use the upgrade keyword and pip. Pip stands for Python internet package. Okay, these are all called bootstrap application, headless. Headless means you cannot download a exe or a zip file to extract. Okay, all happens through internet. So that is the reason we call them as a bootstrap application, where these are all headless. No hair, I mean exe will be there, that you will see everything will get loaded in a default location in the background. Okay, so this one is this. Okay, now I'll open a new tab. One minute, I'll open a new notebook. Okay, I'll name this as Python underscore importing. Okay, importing libraries. So one concept I'm going to cover. Okay, importing libraries. Okay, so first thing first, how what is the keyword that we will use? Okay, so I'll say import OS. Okay, if I run this, it gets loaded in this notebook, all the libraries functions. Okay, if I want to use particular some libraries, I'll say OS reference, I'll give, okay, dot, and I'll press the tab. Okay, these are all the functions that are available, okay, for the operating system. So like I said, this Python is not only meant for data science. You can use it on the website. Okay, I mean development purpose, then scientific purpose, machine learning, then you can manipulate your settings or read some settings from operating system. You can use multiple purpose. That is the reason why we called it as very famous, I mean very popular and famous operating, I mean programming language. Okay, if I want to get my current working directory, okay, I can say dot get current working directory. Okay, and then I'll put two I mean braces to open and close, and I'll run it, and you can see my current working directory is this. Okay, os dot, okay, environment variable supports, okay, function put get environment. Okay, These are the functions. So you will have open and close. Okay, so there is no environment set in mind. That is the reason it is giving. So get environment required one personal positional keyword. Okay, inside. Maybe I think uh, environment variable for what .NET. Let's see. I never use this one. .NET is not defined. Okay. Actually, it's not a function. It's a keyword. So use get n env, and then you can see key default is nothing is set. Okay. So with os dot tab uh, show such show. Okay. So you can use all these things like this. So OS I'm not uh, 1 minute. I'll show you how you can browse. Okay, so what I have to write here is uh, Python OS library libraries and functions. Okay, so you have see write a file, see open os.path module. You have a lot here. Okay, so it all depends and see. I mean, if you want to explore more on OS module or this thing, you can. You have to read a lot of documentation here. Okay, so you have different process management. Okay, same random numbers, process management, files and directories, file object, process parameter. Okay, so you have all these things. Process management. Okay, OS dot. Okay, so you can read, guys. Okay, so it's a simple thing. You have to type in Google and then go learn. Okay, so this is a simple code. Okay, so new directory. I'm creating a variable called new directory is equal to test folder. Okay, if not os.path.exist, Means if this folder is not exist, okay, os dot make directory new, this one it will create, and then it will print it is created, else it will say already exists. Okay, I'm using if statement else. Okay, so directory test folder created. Okay, so you do that, right? For example, you are starting a new project, okay, new project, and you need a folder. So in your Python code at the beginning, if you write what is the name you want to give. Okay, so for example, the project you are working is customer experience, experience, or employee experience, or HR experience. Okay, so you create that folder, and wherever your current directory is there right now. Okay, so this directory here, it will create this folder called test folder. Okay, so that is how you're gonna get, um you can make use of all these packages. Okay, so let me go to the PPT. So this is a command that you will be using. Okay, so if you want to install, what is the Python package? Okay, if you want to install pip pip install, what is the PSYCOPG2. Okay, I want to use this package, install this package, so that I can use all the functions and methods to connect to my database and read my data. So after hitting it, you can see here it goes in a busy mode here. Okay, that means it is downloading. If there is any error, it will show it here. Okay, so just wait for a second. Don't go with the next statement. It will not work. It will go slow. So just wait for some time till this finishes. Okay, now it's done. Okay, it says collecting PyCop G2 node, you may need to restart the kernel. Okay, don't get confused with restart the system or kernel. Okay, kernel is this existing. How do you restart? You have this arrow right here, restart the kernel. Just run it and then restart the kernel. It will not reboot your PC. Okay, and how do you put a command? Hash. Okay, so when you run this again next time, it will not run because I already installed, right? This is just for demonstration purpose. I want to keep that line. So I'll run this and go to next one. Okay, and if I want to use import function, how will I use import psy psycop g2. Okay, okay, now I'll create a alias as I will use as what is that, postgres. Okay, I'll use pg. Okay, short form. Done. Okay, now I want to use pg dot, I'll use a tab. Okay, you will have something called connect function. Okay, in this connect function, it will, you have to give a db name, user detail, comma, password for your database. Okay, and host also, comma, host. Host is the IP address where you have deployed your Postgres. Okay, I'll show you all these things. Don't get confused. This is just for demonstration purpose. I'm doing this. Okay, how to use and how to use the function. This is, even if I run this, it will throw an error. Okay, Okay, coming back to our PPT. Uh, Next slide. What is the next slide we have? Next slide is this. Okay. Once you install, you can import it in your Python script. Same thing we did. After you install with the pip command, pip space install your package name, you can import it. Okay. After it gets installed, you can use NumPy. Okay. Something like this. Import NumPy as NP. Okay. And then you can create a NumPy.array, and then you can use all the functions and all. Okay, so these are all some of the things that I have added here. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll put it here. Okay, so these are all the libraries that I'm gonna run it. Okay, to in my notebook. Okay, so that it will get. I can use all these libraries in this notebook. Okay, I'll just run it, and these are the print statement to check the version. Okay, you can use np dot underscore version underscore. This is the command that you can see. Okay, now you can see it is running. It is busy. Okay, so NumPy version is 126 and Pandas version is 222. And it says no module pyplotlib.pilot has no attribute called version. Okay, so it doesn't have a version maybe. Okay, PLT, right? So I'll do one thing. I'll use SNS. SNS is nothing but Seaborn. Okay, Seaborn, that is used for visualization. SNS, and I'll run this. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, matplotlib, nothing but this one. Matplotlib and Seaborn are almost same. Okay, so this is the version that you can use. Okay, and also when you are working with Python, okay, most commonly library that I explained is Pandas. Okay, this is very powerful for data manipulation and analysis. Okay, especially for handling structured data like tabular data. If you have a structured, unstructured data like a notepad with a text with some numbers and all, right? Pandas is not the right this one. So you have to use something called PySpark. Okay, so that is used on the cloud, but I'm going to include that also later. First, we'll learn basics Python, and then we'll get going with other uh, topics. Okay, if you see the insights about Pandas is a data frame, data manipulation, handling missing data, finding the outliers. Okay, and then group by operations, same thing you did in do in Excel, right? Pivot and all those. Okay, you can do this here. Okay, and time series analysis. If you have a ticket, a running ticket details in Excel, okay, you can do the time series. Okay, Data visualization is same thing what I said about pie charts, bar charts, and all those things you can bring it. Okay. So I've added some examples here. Okay. I'll not write, I'll just copy paste. You can also do the same thing. Okay. Now here you see, first line is importing a pandas as PD library. Then I'm creating a simple data frame. Okay. Now you see here, curly bracket, curly bracket. Here we have key and value. So what type of data I'm using? Dictionary. You remember data structure in Python? Okay, primitive, non-primitive. Okay, so here I'm using a dictionary where I have a name, key, sorry, not name, key and value. Okay, and then I am storing all this data in a data frame. When it displays, it will come in column and rows. Okay, all these values. Okay, and then I'm storing it in a DF. DF is nothing but data frame. Okay, it's a name of the variable. See, short form D data frame, right? DF. Okay, you can use anything, my data or employee EMP data, whatever you want. So I use DF. Okay, and then I'm printing name. Okay, and then I'm printing other. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll put it in a next line. Okay, I'll run this and I'll show you one by one. Okay, now this has run. Now I want to see the status. Okay, data. Just type DF and run it. See, so data is coming in a column and rows. So basically, this is called data frame. When you have a data in a tabular format with rows and columns, we call that as data frame. Okay, so this is one. Now I want to run this print df name only. Okay, so I have a name column. If you want to print only data column, uh, data pertaining to this column, you can use df.name. Okay, just copy this. Okay, now you can see. Okay, what if I want to print the salary only? Okay, I can say df square bracket. Okay, and then I'll type salary for that particular column data. Okay, sorry, column name, I have to put it in quotes. Okay, something like this. If I want to print the age, same thing I can do. I'll just copy this, create, I think somewhere it's there. I think this is the one. Create a duplicate of this cell. Okay. So here, instead of salary, I'll print age. Okay. I want you to do this basics, guys. Okay. I'll not get into high funda thing right now. So whatever the numbers are there, you can see here. Okay. So it's still doing this busy. I think it will throw an error. I know. So age keyword error this. Okay. So whenever you get this type of error, right? First come down here and see what is the key error here. Okay. Age and this thing. There is some problem with our. What it says invalid. Okay. Check indexing key error from error. Okay. Okay. 1 minute, guys. Okay. So 1 minute. I think there is some problem here with this syntax. Okay. Wait, I'll figure it out. So it says indexer. One minute. Let me check the spelling. Age, salary. Because SALARY age. Correct only because Python is a case sensitive. Okay, I'll do inside the print. Okay, maybe I think something got changed the version. Okay, earlier it used to work. Df of then I can use the square bracket, square bracket, square bracket, and another square bracket. Okay, so let me run it should work actually. Invalid index. Invalid index. Okay, where it is saying index columns dot get lock key. So it says this line. This line. Okay, let me try it like this. 1 minute. I think I'll remove this one. Okay, so two braces, two a square bracket, and in between comma. See, now we are getting. So earlier I used to give separate brackets for this. It used to work. Okay. So this is for I mean DF and your column name within quotation will give you column each column. What if you want to add all columns? Okay, you have 100 columns. Okay, you want to see only four column data, how it looks like. You can do something like this. Okay, we'll do a lot of manipulation. Don't worry. Okay, now age, salary, and if you want to interchange anything, you can do it like this. Name. Okay, so if you see here, name is first, age and salary. Okay, I'm doing the reverse here. Age, salary, and name. Okay, okay, you can use this something like this. Df two square bracket, and in between comma for all your uh, data frames. Okay, that you want to read. Okay, so and now you can see here. I'm using a filter here where age is greater than 30. Okay, like I said, pandas data manipulation is very powerful. Okay, with the one line you can see greater than 30. If I have 100 rows and if I ask you to check the age group greater than 30 only, so how will you do in Excel? Okay, you will use some formulas and it takes some time, right? But here you can see just one line, age of greater than 30, and then you run it, it will give you the details. Okay, so these are the four guys name we are printing, and second one is we are doing a filtering data. Here you can see age above 30 is only two guys, 35 this guy and 40 David and Charlie. Okay, and this is another program, same thing like this only. I just changed it in Notepad. Okay, so pandas as PD, data is equal to, I'm using a dictionary keyword, name and value for three entries. If you want to add one more, for example, okay, salary. Okay, then square bracket. So how many entries are there? Three. So three entries you have to add salary. Okay, I'll say 2k comma point 1k. Okay, k. I'll give the absolute number. Okay, 2000, 2100 salary. Okay, per month in dollars, and then the last one is some 35. Okay, now I have three entries here. Okay, now I'll run this. Okay, So all this data, four columns is stored in DF. And now what I'm printing only name and city. What if I want to print age and salary? I can just click here, age, comma, salary. Age not in index. Okay, now you see this is a classic example, guys. Okay, now when you see key error, age not in index, what that means is Python is a case sensitive. If you see here, it is written in small age. I have mentioned here A as capital. So just make sure you give a proper naming convention, follow the same rules. Okay, and now you see you have all this data. Okay, same thing if I want to print greater than age is greater than 30, I'll see greater than or equal to 30, I'll see two entries. Okay, so if I copy this one, okay, I'll just copy this one, I'll paste it here. Okay, now df is equal to age is equal to 30. Okay, greater than, if I use equal, greater than and equal, then you will see two entries. Okay, see two entries. Okay, if I remove this one, equal, no, only greater than symbol, now you will see only one entry. Okay, just make sure you just play around with all these logical operators. We already learned this. Okay, all these things basics we have already covered. So just refer your PPT. Okay, and then play around. Okay, now in this case I want to play around with df. What is this name? Okay, I want to use name. So I what I'll do, I'll say name name. Okay, equals, what is the name I'm looking for? The data for a person called Bob. B-O-B. Okay, equals to Bob. Okay, it says cannot assign to subtract here. Okay, instead you mean instead of this. Okay, equal this is not, this is assignment. One equals means assignment. Two equals means validation. Okay, I forgot. Sorry. Okay, see here. This is very useful, guys. These basics only will help you to do a lot of analysis on your data. A lot of data analysis you can do with all these basics things. Okay, what's the time? 11:09. So we'll do one thing. We'll close this session today. Tomorrow, Friday, right? We'll again go through it, and then we'll continue with the next topics, and then I'll give you the practice session also tomorrow. Okay.